Welcome to the Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're very well. Thanks for joining me. Well, I don't know what happened in yesterday's video with my voice. Thanks for expressing your concern, but I feel fine. I feel like my voice has come back to normal, so I don't know what it was yesterday. Maybe it was a little bit too much singing along with Bon Jovi, but anyway. So, as you can see, I'm on the cut at the minute. I haven't been down this part of the wharf. It's really nice. Just down there is somewhere called the Kilworth Narrows, and the canal narrows in just after the marina entrance. It's just really quiet and tranquil down here, so I've come out to chill for a little bit, which is nice. Get out the boat. I feel like loads of people have commented about it, and there is lots of incomplete jobs on the boat, and it's true, there are, and I feel like nothing's really been achieved for a couple of weeks. So I don't know, I feel like I'm in a bit of a lull with it all, or have been. Today feels better, but I do, like, looking back, certainly over the last week, I don't feel like much has been going on. Certainly nothing kind of like big and visual in the boat. There's been a lot of it. Every kind of week there's been something, you know, whether it's the fireplace or the galley going in or the dinette or something. It's all kind of, wow, cool, that's there. The only difference I think I've done in the last week is paint the thing, and a 6-year-old can do that. So yeah, I think I feel differently once the bathroom's in, or at least the shower's in. I think the other reason for these partly completed jobs is because, unlike the narrowboat here that the boys are building, the new one, they've done it a million times before, so they know exactly what they're doing, and they just, they know they need 60 8x4 sheets. They just get them in one go. It's all here. With me, I'm kind of making it up as I go along, partly for storage. I can't store 60 sheets of 8x4, and also I don't know how much I need, and I'm kind of just going through it a bit. So, and also certainly these days where it's not so easy to get things delivered, and there's obviously a time lag on certain goods and services, in terms of getting things to the boat. That's also proving to be a bit tricky. So certain elements of the build have got to a point and then can't carry on, which is, it is frustrating, and I'm not sure, I'm guessing it's just the way I'm doing it, because I said the boys in the workshop, bloody hell, I mean, I wouldn't say they're nearly finished, but it looks pretty close to. It's incredible. They've only had it a week or something. Maybe it's just maybe I'm just comparing, and I shouldn't be, because there's a team of them doing it. As I said, they've done it a million times before, and obviously I haven't. So I should stop kind of looking at their build and thinking, what's wrong with mine? Although, in fairness, if you were to stand on their boat and squint, it's not hugely dissimilar. There's lower walls on both boats. There's a floor laid on both boats. There's panelling and battens on both boats. Insulation. There's a bulkhead in both boats. So I mean, if you squint, like really squint, it's not too dissimilar. Okay, their accuracy might be, there's less gaps in theirs, but anyway. So I think I'll feel a lot different when the shower enclosure's in and things like that, because visually it's something you walk past every 5 minutes and think, oh cool, that's been done. So I'm hoping that'll make a difference. So finish my brew and I'll crack on. You don't have to do it with conduit. You can just run the cables and just poke them down where the holes are, but I don't know, for some reason I want to do it with conduit. I think I've got quite a lot of it, so sod it. I'll chuck it in. So I've put in some conduit here. You'll see there's some cable down here actually. This is from the bow bedroom. Obviously each room has got its own cabling strips, going from there all the way down to whatever room it is. So the kitchen ones will go from there around to here on its own set of wires. The dinette will come down to there to its own set of wires. The bathroom This is their set of wires going down their conduit to that, and then the bow bedroom will be the same. All the other 12-volt cabling will be underneath the gunnels. It's only the lighting up here. Okay, it's cabling time. So I'm doing the bathroom cables. These are them. The idea is it goes from the control panel, which will be in the galley, down this length of conduit here, into the bathroom. The positive will come down to the switch and back up, and it will go to that light, then this light. And that's it. So 3 bulbs, and the end of that will be a bulb. So this is the end of the bathroom cables. So it goes from here, round there, there's going to be another light there in the shower, and it's going to come down here to the switch, and then it's going to feed all the way back to the galley. So I'm just laying it into this conduit here, but I just wanted to kind of show you how this bit works. So obviously the negative stays there. You don't want to have any connections in these circuits. The only connections are the lights and the switch. You can connect it at the switch and use 2 different ones, but I'm just going to run it all in the same way. Just makes it quite easy. So the negative stays there, and then the positive obviously needs to come down there, down to the switch, back up again, back up to there, and then back down there with the negative. So that's the amount I need to keep out there to go down for the switch. I'll give it a little bit more just in case, and then it's those 2 there which feed down back into this one. So I'll take that off. Now this conduit here is carrying the bedroom lights and the bathroom lights. So obviously each lighting circuit has its own circuit, as it were. Well, not as it were, it does. Oh, bollocks. That's annoying. I really struggle doing stuff above my head because I have a shoulder which keeps dislocating, which if anyone knows how painful a dislocated shoulder is. So, and there's been so many times when I'm doing stuff above my head where it clicks and yeah, damn hurt. Well, it's just scary because if it goes on a boat, I mean, goodness knows that would not be a pleasant experience on my own on a boat with a dislocated shoulder. Anyways, right, let's get this back in. Good. Now we need to be a bit more positive, and this is the good thing about using conduit, is that you can move the cables quite freely. The other reason why you have conduit is to stop the wires chafing when the boat moves or when it does anything like that, which obviously you don't want, because then if the wires chafe it could create a fire. With this little conduit, unless it's a perfect connection, it doesn't like it, whereas that fatter stuff, that 16mm stuff, you can kind of bash it in and it will find its place. This is just a little bit too feeble and just makes it a damn sight harder work. Oh, right. There we go. So the bathroom cables have been marked up at the stern, but they run through this conduit here to this point, and then the positive runs down to the switch down there. So you'll snip where the switch is, go back up, and then it goes down to that light there above the shower, then that light there above the toilet, or in between the toilet and the wash hand basin, and then this one here is the end of the circuit, which will be in the middle of the walkway. This is the cable all ready for the bedroom. So that's obviously running through, because that obviously also needs to be hidden under the ceiling in the bathroom. So that's what it looks like from here. So now I'm ready to cut the panel, the holes out of the panel, including the mushroom vent, and get the roof up, and then I can carry on with the shower install. Okay, so from the stern, the bedroom lights come up here. That's these two cables there, and carry on all the way through. The bathroom ones come up here. It's these two here. The positive goes to the switch and then comes back along with the negative, and then goes to the lights. So now I need to cut the holes in the ceiling panels. Go to my hole cutter. Got a 56 and a 60. Go to my LED light. Obviously it's a 58. So I can't progress any further because I need a 58. Can't have it too small and file them all out because there's just hundreds of them. So that's going to take forever. And that sounds like a horrible job. So I'll wait for a 58. There might be someone here who's got one. There's also a guy that turns up every now and then in like a red van, something like out the 50s, wearing brown overalls, and just opens the back doors and it's covered in like loads of cool stuff and tools and things. So if he turns up, he might have one. Otherwise, I'll have to order one and get one delivered. But that's a bit annoying. But talking about LED lights, does anyone know where I can get connectors like that to go into obviously the cables? I don't really want to just cut these off and put a crimp onto the cables. I'd rather have a connector going into there because it makes it easier to disconnect them then, in case I want to change them in the future, just in case those horrible like dentist lights as opposed to nice soft lights. So, because no doubt I've bought them wrong. Even though it looks like a mess in here, and it really is a mess, I know someone remarked it on the last video, there has been a sign of progression. The cabling looks god awful, it really does. It's so much of it in the galley, it's a nightmare. There's bits of everything over the floor, but it's progression nonetheless. So I'm really happy with that. That is definitely a step forward, but I really, really need to tidy up on board. This place is an absolute nightmare to move around in. It's impossible to work. It took me about half an hour to find my wire clippers today. So it is just dreadful. So I'm going to spend this evening tidying up and sprucing this place up. So hopefully it will kind of make it easy to work in and also pass your approval. So yeah, that's my plan for this evening, to do that. I'm going to look around and see if I can get myself the hole cutter, because then I can get that ceiling panel up. At the moment, that's just kind of hanging around in the kitchen, which is a bit of a pain as well. But it stopped raining, so that's quite nice. So it's there's no rain coming through the chimney. But that does remind me I need to crack on with that. But in fairness, now the conduit, the cables are there, it's not far off. Talking of conduit, that small stuff is an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to redo some of the other conduit I've got in and replace it with the 16mm stuff, which you can basically just knock in with your fist. The other bits are just so dainty, it's impossible. So and once you put two 2.5mm cables in there, there's not much room, and when it pops off, it is the most. Honestly, the amount of swearing on board today was just horrific. So I think I'm going to replace it with the bigger conduit. It makes it much easier. So I'll crack on with that tonight as well. So hopefully when you see me next, this place will be nice and spick and span, and you never know, the ceiling panel might be in, and that will be a welcome relief. So until then, look after yourselves. Hope you're very well. Take care. Bye.